Tell me pretty lies, look me in the face. Tell me that you love me, even if it's fake.
Alright guys, welcome back to the Mokey channel. So what are we going to start today? Today we are going to start with the first card in the video series I wanted to do, which I call the Lost Cards. So I had also the video done for the Cards of Victory series. So Waboko is already online and you may have seen it already. It is supposed to be a video series to educate people about what cards were really used back then in a lot of successful and famous decks. And this video series of the Lost Cards is kind of a video series I want to do about cards that are not really used at all in decks in Go From It, but people may or should consider just as a friendly reminder. Hey, there are still cards out there. You can explore. We can put them in decks and just see what works for you, what you're trying to accomplish. So there are a lot of Warrior Toolbox decks out here, and this is the card Legacy Hunter. He was printed in Ancient Sanctuary in 2004, and if we look at Warrior Toolbox, he was never really considered in them. So I would say he does not only look similar to Don the Nook, he actually has a similar effect to Don the Nook. He's like kind of mixed guy between a warrior who takes face down monsters and a guy who gets rid of hand cards. So what he does is, if he attacks, does it need to be a face down defense position monster? Yes. So if he attacks a face down defense position monster, he destroys it by battle, his effect will trigger, and he will not discard an opponent's card, but one random card from your opponent's hand will be shuffled into the deck. So that's actually a really powerful effect if you think about it. So because shuffling into the deck a card random from your opponent's hand is considerably more powerful than discarding a random card from your opponent's hand and putting it to the graveyard. Why is that? Because cards in the graveyard are still sometimes useful resources that players can use. So what is this card actually holding back? What is this card holding back is practically the card text that says it has to attack a face down defense position monster. So it doesn't need to do battle damage or something, it just needs to attack a face down defense position monster, and it has only 1000 attack points, which is not very high. Considering Gorfamer plays not often a lot of strong face down defense position monsters, but there is still the option that it could do that. It could. Doesn't have to, but it could. Is what this card weakness is all about, because if you run into face down DD Warrior Lady, you're not going to achieve anything with that. And if you run into face down, for example, face down Magician of Faith, yeah, the guy will still recover spells, so it does not accomplish a lot. But what it does accomplish in terms of that, it does not negate the face down effect like Blade Knight would do, or Mystical Swordsman level 3 would do. It just does not do that. But what it does, it gets a card from your opponent's hand actually in the deck, and you should maybe consider putting it in your arsenal, because sometimes this effect can actually be pretty useful for your own advantage. And I'm pretty sure people can use this card in some ways to do a lot of bad things to your opponent. For example, just think about what this card could do together with Book of Moon against offensive monsters that you can just run over because you put them in face and defense position. For just a random example, right? If you put Kaiku face and defense position, he has less than 1000 defense. He just runs over it and he clears that, and he basically does not only clear Kaiku, but he shuffles back one random hand card from your opponent. That's actually powerful. That's actually a powerful consideration. So not even he should be maybe considered in main decks, but maybe in the sideboard. For if you play a warrior deck and you have this option to bring this out with maybe Tsukiyomi lock them, bring out or use a Sword of Concealing Light to put your opponent's monsters face down, and you know their defense and stuff. You can just do so much damage with this card, and you don't need to, for example, if you have Donzaluk and your opponent has a face and defense position monster, Donzaluk will not do much in comparison to this card. This card will not negate the flip effect. Donzaluk will not negate the flip effect either. But this card will get rid of one hand card from your opponent. So Donzaluk has more attack points. Donzaluk is effective when he does damage. But only then. That's the problem of Donzaluk. This card does not need to do damage. This card has less attack points, but if it only destroys an opponent's monster in face and defense position, it will get its effect anyways. It does not need to do damage. So its weakness is kind of also its strength. It's a really weird spot it finds itself in, but I'm really sure that it can be played in more decks and can be played actually successfully in more variants. Even if it's just in a side deck card option. So warrior decks should consider playing Legacy Hunter, because maybe Legacy Hunter will be able to create his own legacy. That's it from me, Mokey guys. I'm out of here, and you will like and subscribe for me, and then whatever, boo boo boo. Bye bye.